first guest of the day, the first guest of the June show is Mr. Wahid Nashad. I have known him for quite some time. Nina, you want to go ahead and bring him in for us? Let's see. Can we make Wahid big and us small? Let's do that. How do we do that, Nina? Nina's our tech, by the way. She'll be taking care of us today and arranging everything.
Shout out to Nina.
Nope,
You're
not me. I
awesome,
don't want
by
to
the
be
way,
big.
Nina.
Get me out of there. Hi, Wahid. How are you?
Hey, Kat. Hey, Trevor. How you guys doing?
We're
What's
doing
going
great,
on,
Not
man.
man?
We're
much. Thank
doing
you
great.
guys. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. You guys have been putting on quite a show here. Um,
Thank you. We're trying.
yeah, it's been very, very informative so far. Very, very entertaining. So I'm sure all the
Thank
audience
you.
is enjoying it, as am I.
Thank
Hey,
you.
I just want to come on today and talk to you guys a little bit about my career journey and how I got to where I am today.
Right.
Of course,
Right.
I'm still working, still in the workforce, working hard, trying to climb the ladder. But just yeah, a
Right.
couple
And
things that
and
I've
I
been. hmm
and I've known you for quite a while. When I
Yeah,
met you, you were kicking butt in sales in the financial industry.
exactly.
So
Exactly. So I'm still in the financial industry. I know when you and I met, I was working for a smaller company on Plano. And so I was trying
right,
to grow my career with them. Um, the thing is, with growing your career, you really want to get a lot of exposure to a lot of different companies. It's good to stick to one company. However, the more you can kind of get around, the more exposure you have and the more experience you gain. My problem back then was that I didn't have a college degree. And then a lot of these big companies either want you to have a college degree or they want you to have a ton of experience.
right,
So, there's a couple ways to go around it. You don't always need a degree. You could just, work your butt off, kind of like I was, and continue to do that and work your way up and then make yourself valuable. You're adding value to yourself, and then you can kind of market yourself to other companies with the experience
right,
you've gained. So that
right.
was going well for me. However, I did decide to go back to school, finish up my degree. So I went to Texas Tech. I got my business degree in economics, and then I
So
immediately
why
went
that
back.
degree?
Why that
Why
degree?
that degree?
So I'm going to tell you guys a little secret right now. So the business degree, economics degree, that's just something that I personally like to study. It's something that really engaged me and kept me focused in school and just got me through it. However, I could have worked somewhere completely outside of finance, outside of my degree. It's
Right,
I think what most companies look for when they ask for a college degree. I don't. A lot of times you'll see companies like, for example, I work at a financial company. However, I work with a lot of people who have like criminal justice degrees and liberal arts degrees and all these other different degrees. I think what companies really want to see is dedication. I think
right.
earning a college degree just shows that you were committed to finish something, no matter how long it took you. You actually finished it. You took the time and you completed something, and I think that's what they're mainly looking for. And
Okay.
so, yep, exactly. So, like I said, I went ahead and I got that degree. I immediately entered back into the workforce. I got a job at TD Ameritrade. Of course, when fresh out of college, even though I had a ton of work experience, as you know, fresh out
Yes.
of college, still brand new degree, I'm still considered entry level. So I had to kind of start from the bottom and work my way back up again.
Right.
So obviously,
Isn't that a Drake song?
what was that?
I said, isn't that a Drake song?
I, yeah, exactly.
Started
Started
from
from
the
the bottom.
bottom,
Now
now
we're
we're
Right.
here. Exactly. So in
Oh
my case,
no,
I
you're
started
so
from the
funny in the
bottom. I
language.
worked up, started back from the bottom, worked my way back up. And so I got a job at TD Ameritrade. I had to start off as an entry level relationship manager one. However, my previous work experience really helped. It really kicked in. So as you know, Kat, I worked on the phones a lot when I
That's
was doing
right.
sales. So my new role, it doesn't really involve sales. It's more of a service base. However, I noticed that salespeople can make really good service people because we're so used to taking the high volume of calls, and we're so used
Right.
to, just having people listening. I think we just have really good listening skills, and we know what to listen for.
If you're a good sales guy, that's correct.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
it's all about listening.
Yeah. A lot of
Absolutely.
sales
And I want
guys.
to ask you too,
Mm-hmm.
because I had the privilege of watching you work, right? And I mean,
Yes.
literally, like sitting there looking
Mm-hmm.
at you while you're working, and you you kind of had an interesting approach with your clients. You always just were very conversational. It never sounded like a sales call. It was
Exactly.
just, hey, just very calm and flowing, and it made it very natural. Has that approach made it easier for you to switch to service? Do you think
Exactly.
that that kind
It
of
definitely
mentality?
has. Absolutely it has. And that's exactly what I was about to say. A lot of salespeople, they're really focused on talking and pitching and, elevator pitch and all this stuff. The thing is, I've learned that listening to your clients really tells you how to make the sale. If you just let them talk, they're going to tell you what all their issues are, and then you can just come right in with your solution. And you
Right.
technically, don't really have to pitch them. Your pitch is kind of built in to the conversation. And you're right. That's exactly how I did it. That's how I
This
focused.
person knows how to ask good questions. It's not about talking all the time. It's about asking really good questions.
Yes, asking the right questions.
Yep,
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how
Yes.
you get them to talk, right? You
yep,
you want to you want to get them engaged, you want to get them to talk, and you want them to kind of in a way sell themselves. And you're just there, they're just buying from you because they like you. Um,
yep.
yeah, so that does translate to service really well. That has helped me a lot. Especially when I started at TD Ameritrade, we were actually merging. We just bought a Scottrade, and so you can just imagine the high volume of phone calls we were getting from all the Scottrade customers trying to get into TD system, and it was nuts. It was definitely nuts. Um, but I think my previous work experience really did help me in that aspect. It got me used to taking high volume of calls and remaining calm the entire time. And so I worked my way up to relationship manager two just within 3 short months. And then about a year after that, I went ahead and applied for the senior relationship manager role, which again they only open up that role, I want to say, about maybe once a year.
Oh,
And
wow.
we usually have about, I want to say, 250 so candidates, 250 so people apply for that position. It's all internal as well.
Hey,
Um,
can I say something? I think that's a huge skill that you got there, man. Because
ex-
I'm going to tell you, there's something about, you know, call in service, right?
mhm.
That just is, man, I tell you what, I don't like 1-800 numbers. I don't like calling for service.
Mm-mm.
And there, the thing that is missing is the human element, right? Like
Exactly.
when you call in
Yes.
and you have a problem, first of all, there's already a negative situation going on. There's a problem, and I got to call into Wahid and I got to say, hey, fix my problem. And because it's through the phone, he's not really a human being. He's just 1-800, right?
Yes.
And so
Right.
I'm sure you get a lot of just people like me. I'm a jerk on the 1-800. I'm sorry. You just get like bombarded. And I try. This is my weakness. I try to be really good on 1-800. I try because um, anyway. So that's a skill, man, that you have is to deal with
It
people,
is.
man, angry people
Yeah.
that are like, my problem, man. Just do it.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. And there's plenty of those out there, right? Like I want to say, if you're
Yeah.
taking 100 calls a day, you're gonna get at least 10 of those a day, and you just gotta deal with it,
Oh,
And just one,
No.
for someone who's not patient, just one could really completely shut their day down. So you just gotta be really
Right.
careful of not letting that happen to you.
And
yeah.
empathetic, as Trevor and I were discussing earlier. Empathy, empathy, empathy. Always,
Yes.
especially right now. Especially right now. So, right now, speaking of that, what have you seen that's different right now versus a few months ago? Right. Pre-COVID and pre all of the national stress. What what differences are you seeing?
Well, in my industry, so as you guys know, TD Ameritrade, we're a brokerage firm in stocks and bonds and everything. So in my industry, we
Right.
have been busy. We have not slowed down a beat because whether the
Oh
market's
yeah.
up or down, if people are buying or selling, they still have to go through us. So we had just
Right.
been
Right.
slammed, like slammed. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. I've been seeing a lot of different
Okay.
things. So definitely a lot of people selling off, trying to liquidate. However,
Okay.
there's a lot of opportunists out there, people who are
Yep.
saying, okay, hey, the market is
Right.
crashing. This is a good opportunity to buy up. So they're
That's what
just
I
Oh
did.
yeah.
rebuying. Exactly,
Man,
it is.
I'm in financial services as well. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can definitely speak to that. I can relate to it. It's I've been super slammed. Like, oh my
Exactly.
god, just busy, busy, busy. Like
Yeah,
uh,
Yes.
the recessions and the times that the market is volatile and things like that, like what's going on right now, are when people actually kind of think that
hmm
they need help and guidance. And so, like, we're busier now than we ever have been. When things are good and the market just keeps climbing, 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 people think they don't need us, right?
Right.
right. They just have a steady game plan. But then
Right.
when it's volatile,
But
you're
it's
right. When
not
it's volatile, it's the busiest.
true.
Yep. So I tell people all the
So
time, Wahid,
so
me and you are in a recession-proof business.
Pretty much, I would say so. Absolutely.
So, Wahid, one of the things I'm very excited about for you, and it's something I've known, you wanted to do for quite a
Hmm.
while, is you're now branching off into entrepreneurship as
Yes,
well.
absolutely.
And by the way, this is a great opportunity to mention yet again that we do have opportunities. If you go to our actual website, which is careerlaunch2020.com, go to the opportunities page, you will see dozens upon dozens upon dozens of awesome opportunities from all levels, everything from entry level sales all the way up to executive type positions. And one of the roles that you will find on the Titan management page of our site is Wahid's role. He is looking for some truck drivers. So tell us what, first of all, how excited are you that you're
Oh,
finally getting to do that?
I am very, very excited. So you've known me a long time. You know I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of
Oh
sales
yes.
guys do. Even though I went into service. So here's one of the benefits of me going into the workforce, working my way up as quickly as I did. It comes with a lot of great perks. It comes with that good pay bump every time. So what allowed me to do is kind of reinvest my money, set aside some money to where I want to reinvest and go into entrepreneurship. So this is one of my first ventures. It's going to be a trucking company. The way I came across that, so I did have a broker who was helping me kind of find a lot of businesses for me to acquire. One of the acquisitions I wanted to do was a bigger trucking company out in Houston. However,
Oh yes.
yeah, yeah, I think I explained that to you. However, it's kind of like you gotta work your way up, just like in the workforce. You have to work your way up. Therefore, what I'm starting to do is I want to go ahead and start my own small little trucking company here. Get a few trucks,
Mm-hmm.
build a good team of drivers. What I'm looking to do is build a core team of drivers who will eventually be my fleet managers, since they're going to be my
Right.
first few drivers. So we're looking for a lot of
Right.
trust to build here. And so what I want
That's
to do
awesome. And
is
I
build that up and
oh,
then acquire something bigger. And then
right, exactly. And I love that you made the analogy to working up in the workplace. That's the number one piece of advice I give to new entrepreneurs is work. That's how you learn, right? That's
yes,
how you learn how to build up. Don't just start off trying to own a business. You're gonna flop.
yeah,
Unless you just get really,
exactly,
really lucky and you're Mark Zuckerberg and you get some freakishly awesome,
yeah,
random idea. You're not going to be successful. And even so, it still behooves you to learn and have that experience and all that. And so first of all, I commend you for that because
thank you.
I've known, like, for years I've known you. You wanted, like, I want to do something. I want to do something. But what drew you specifically to trucking?
So, like
Seriously.
I said, as I was searching for businesses to acquire, the trucking industry really came across me. There was one particular company in Houston that I really liked. They specialize in like oil field trucking, so they especially help in
Okay.
the oil fields. All right, and so what happens is, as you're looking to acquire a company, you really learn a lot about the industry, really start to dive deep in it, and then it really, I'm a numbers guy. So the numbers started popping up
Yes.
to me. I'm like, okay, if I can take this business and I can add a few more trucks, here's how much extra I could be making, or here's how I can
Right.
optimize the business and be efficient with it. And
Yeah.
so then I thought, instead of waiting a long time for me to acquire this company, I can just go ahead and work with the numbers and start acquiring trucks right now, one by one.
Absolutely.
And so it was really a numbers game for me. I'll just be honest. It's 100% numbers game. I knew that I'm a numbers guy. I work in finance, so I knew that
Right.
this is one way for me to scale. Economy is a scale. So that's what
Absolutely.
really attracted me to
Absolutely.
this.
So what's going to set you apart from everybody else? What's going to
So
make you different?
so I'm very, very focused on not just not just client satisfaction, but definitely employee satisfaction as well. I believe your company start and end with your employees. So what's going to set me apart
Yes.
is, the average trucker, unless you're owner operator, if you're working for a company, they don't really get paid all that much. I think the average median wage is like 40,000 or something like that. I plan to pay
Right.
above industry average, but that's just only one part of it, right? Anyone can offer a higher
Right.
salary. What I really want to do is engage my drivers. I want them to be like
Right.
a little, a small little family. And that's how I want
Right.
to. That's how I want to be different. I really want my employees to be the front face of my company, and
That's
essentially they'll
awesome.
be like,
Awesome.
part owners with me, and that's how I want to
Oh,
treat
see,
them.
that's great. Yeah. Equity share is such a big piece, and it really does show value to people. It really
It
does show
is
them, really are part of the team.
absolutely.
So I like that. That's really cool. So speaking of which, our next guest used to sort of be your manager, not exactly over your
Yeah,
department, but
but I know him
he
very
kind of
well. We work
helped
very
on the
close together.
show. So that's right. So our next guest is Joel Knapp. I've worked for and with him